a lot of people are. And then, yeah, I think I'll basically get the replay out to him right away. And I think it was pretty clear the Zoom in there. So I think we're good. So yeah, I will get record and let's get rolling. All right, so recording this computer. All right, and here we go. Good to go. So I'm here with the one and only marketing specialist, the guru of all gurus, Lanny Morton, who I had been trying for a couple years to have Lanny work with us, and it finally took enough arm twisting, a little bit of stocking stuffing to get him on board. But I'd love for you to share a little bit of your background. You're a legend in the personal development space, and seriously, man, I'm just so pumped to have you on board and supporting us. And I think it's been great for all of our clients too, because the more that we grow, the more that our clients will grow with our systems and tools and everything. So
cool. Thanks, Nick. I'll do the quick version of the bio, if that's okay. I started on computers in the 80s. I was actually a hacker in the 80s on my Apple II Plus. Did lots of illegal activities. If you remember bulletin board systems, I was a system operator. I had 2 different bulletin board systems. I actually started my first continuity program in 1985, believe it or not. Called the Garden of Eden. It was pretty cool. I spent $4,000 for a 36 megabyte hard drive. If you can imagine that. True story. And fast forward in 2002, I started in e-commerce, started sportscloseouts.com, sold that in 2008. 2008, I started a personal development information business that was, probably one of the most successful internet personal development businesses to date that I've ever seen. We built a list of over 500,000 people in 2 years. We put 75,000 people through that program. It was a continuity program.
wow,
Something like that. It was a lot of people, a lot of cash, a lot of fun. And took some time off, and for the last couple of years, I've just kind of been a hired gun. I haven't really been, just doing stuff for people kind of randomly. So I think that's about it. I'd say what's different about my background is I've done everything, in that, like, when we started our businesses, like especially sportscloseouts.com, I was like flat broke at the time. I had nothing. Like I had a borrowed $800 is what we started that with. And we built that from the ground up, handwriting labels on the living room floor, writing thousands and thousands of product descriptions. I'd say that's where I got good at writing copy. Was, I learned, like, the quality of my copy determined the price I would get for my product. So I had to get good, or we die, basically. So that's kind of the background.
awesome.
I accepted the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Webby Awards back in 2007, which is pretty cool.
Dang, didn't know that one.
Yeah, I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine a couple times and some other places. So yeah,
I just just how I know Lanny is in a mastermind, and so you working with Jack Canfield, John Assaraf, a lot of big names in personal development. It's exciting that you've got, what works, and we're gonna, basically shortcut a lot of years of figuring it out, and we already have some good systems, and we're just gonna make it better. And the cool thing is, just a quick spoiler alert, is as so Laney's redoing all the copy for the Life and Fire Challenge, which means it's going to convert way better. And we're going to be able to take that entire sales letter process. It's going to be put on ClickFunnels. And then for anybody that wants to use a sales letter, we can quickly and easily duplicate it, and you can have it. And so then you'll have your own sales process, for your own challenge, which will be huge. So it's going to be awesome. So the better that this does, the better that, it'll work in your own business too. So
cool. Ready to get started with the training?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the backstory of this was, I've been doing testimonials for a long time, and I had a certain structure that was really good, but this past year, I figured out a little tweak to the traditional testimonial structure that just killed it. And just to kind of lay some groundwork, if you're getting testimonials for your business, just assume that you need to get 20 or 30 to find one that's going to work. So unfortunately, most testimonials don't work. I'm going to give you the best I got as far as increasing the likelihood of having a successful testimonial. But the truth is that just most people having a hard time doing a great testimonial. So that's kind of the backstory. We had one testimonial video this past year in one of the businesses that I work on that we spent $500,000 in ad spend on one testimonial video. It was that good. So if you hit a winner, you can ride that winner like big time. So that's kind of the backstory. And let me see if you can see my screen. Wait, let's see. Is it on? Can you see my screen?
I cannot. So I see you.
Let me hit the share screen. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Desktop 2. All right. Hit play. Now can you see it? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Good. So the first rule of testimonials is be genuine and authentic and be yourself. So, I was kind of joking at the beginning and I was talking with like, hey, this program's really great. And, don't be this guy. I found this picture of this guy and I thought it was awesome because it's so cheesy.
I'm glad you didn't choose a picture of me. That would have been really awkward now.
That would have been awkward. Don't be anything but yourself. The more authentic and real you are, even if you screw it up, that's okay. Sometimes it's better if you do screw it up. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to be polished. Just be yourself. It's super critical. People know the truth when they hear it. They can feel it. There's a connection that happens with something that's honest. And when it's dishonest, people know it. They might not know it like in their conscious mind, but they can feel it subconsciously. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you're just like, I hear the words the guy's saying, but something inside of me is telling me he's full of crap or she's full of crap?
Yeah,
well,
totally.
It happens all the time in marketing. So anyway, so that's number one is be authentic, be yourself, be genuine. And then here's the actual structure. First part is gratitude. Is starting with gratitude. And Nick, I wasn't sure on this one if it would be, I just want to thank Life on Fire, or if it's Nick and Megan. I don't know how you guys do that. So it could be both. It could be, I just want to thank Life on Fire and Nick and Megan for this 5-step Life on Fire cheat sheet. So here's the deal. The cheat sheet is the 5-step process that you guys went through on the challenge, which I have printed out here. It's vision, declaration, letter, resource up, and then faith over fear. We're turning that into a cheat sheet, a lead magnet. So the thing that you want to edify is this cheat sheet, which is the 5-step process that you've been through. Okay? Really important. Because what we want to do is we want the action that we want them to take is to download the sheet, right? So I just want to thank you for, the 5-step cheat sheet. Then you want to get into describing the results that you're getting before using that 5-step process. Now, where testimonials go right is here. What most people do, and I've seen this with a lot of your testimonials, Nick, is most people get it wrong and they think the most important part of a testimonial is the success. It's not true. The most important part of a testimonial is the struggle. It's the emotion, it's the feeling of the struggle. How are you feeling? What were you thinking? What was happening in your life? What were some of the challenges? 80 to 90% of the testimonial should be struggle. And the reason why is that's where you're going to create a bond with the potential user or whoever's watching it, because they're not going to believe your success or care about your success unless they identify with some part of the struggle. So this one that we spent $500,000 on, this one video that we were able to spend $500,000 on, it's like I want to say the video is like 3.5, 4 minutes, and 2.5 minutes of, or 3 minutes of that is his struggle and how he was feeling, what he was experiencing, some of the frustrations. And most people are just like, oh my God, I did this and it was amazing. And that's their testimonial. It's just not effective at all. Okay. So, and a lot of it is the emotions you're experiencing. If you can go deep on this, there's surface level struggle, and then there's like, so the surface, I'll give you an example of a surface level struggle is, I didn't have any money. Well, that's surface level struggle. But as a result of not having money, I felt insecure because I couldn't take care of my wife and kids. I wondered, what kind of parent was I? Because, my daughter I wasn't able to get her the things that she wanted to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm making stuff up right now, but it isn't, if you can dive deep on the struggle and how it made you feel and the emotions you're experiencing, that's where testimonials are won or lost, is on the emotion side. And you don't have to cry, but if you do, that's okay too. Like if it's real, again, going back to authenticity, if it's real, that's okay. But not necessary to have a great testimonial. So after you've done 80% of this, and it's struggle, and more struggle, and then some more struggle, and how it made you feel, and all this other stuff, then you have that breakthrough, and then describe the breakthrough. And as a result of using the 5 steps from this cheat sheet, again, mention the cheat sheet, because that's the next action we want them to take. And you did take the 5 steps, so it is honest. But when you did the 5 steps from the cheat sheet, everything changed. And describe what changed and how it made you feel, how the changes and what you accomplished, how that made you feel, what the emotions were like on the success side. If you can get specific, that's better, so like a testimonial that says, I did the challenge and everything in my life was just awesome. And I felt amazing. And everybody could tell that I felt amazing, because when I would go around, people would talk about me and how great I am. That's not good. Like, that's not specific. That's super general. And people just like, oh, okay, whatever. But if you say, before this 5-step process, I was flat broke. I'll give you a real testimonial. I was flat broke. I had just, this is a true story. I had just had 3 people die in my family in the same week. I didn't think I could get any lower. Like I remember the moment and how I felt when those people died. I was actually at their funerals in Palm Springs, California. And I remember I had one of those honest conversations with God. I was like, why? Like, I don't get it. And in that moment, I had this moment with God where I was like, you know what? I'm done doing everything that I've been doing. It's not working. I'm done with it. This is true. This happened. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something different. I'm going to stop doing everything that I'm doing, and I'm going to start doing something different. I stopped drinking. I was a heavy drinker. I stopped feeling obligated to have a job. So I went and started sportscloseouts.com. That started because of utter devastation and my life absolutely crashing and burning to the ground, to the point where I had nothing to lose. I remember my wife saying to me, she said, it's true. She said, Lanny, why don't you start that business on the internet? She goes, you're at rock bottom. She goes, it's not like you can get any lower than you are right now. That was her pep talk. And I did it. And I sold some bats. I sold some bats on eBay. I made $500, and instantly I was like, oh my God, I just made some money on the internet. This is unbelievable. And I made $500 without a boss, without somebody telling me what to do. And I felt like I was on top of the world. It was like this feeling of freedom that I'd had for the first time in my life. And it just, it was amazing. And ever since then, I've loved the internet, and I've loved living on the internet. So if I would have that was all true. Like, that was real. That really happened. So if I would have just told you, I did tell you when I told you what my backstory was the first time, when it was like, hey, give me your bio, it felt different, didn't it, than the second time?
Yeah.
When I told you the struggle. So it's a perfect example of, if I really told the story and I told the struggle, and then I went to like what the success was, it's different, and it's the same formula, or very similar formula, that movies use. All the movies, use a hero's journey formula. And this is really just a twist on that process. And the reason that all the movies do it is because it works really well. So if you can be specific, so my specificity on that would be, in 2002, we started that business, my wife and I. Actually, she was my girlfriend. We'd been dating about 5 weeks when we started that business. And the first year we did 600,000 in sales. Second year we did 1.1 million in sales, and the third year we did 3.3 million in sales from $800. I was actually a Bauer at $800. It wasn't even my $800. So that's like an example of being specific without being douchey, if that makes sense. So this is really important. The next item, please say if you have industry related jargon or lifestyle related jargon, that's really good stuff. So if there's a language that you talk about in your business or in your life, use it. For example, I'll give you a personal one and then I'll give you a business one. The guy, the video, well, if it's a personal one, it would be like if I was a housewife and I was doing a testimonial video, I would say, I was picking up the kids and, doing the laundry, and I would talk about my life, work in what your life is like if you can. And if it's personal, if you're, a stay-at-home dad, you would say that, a stay-at-home dad because this, that, whatever. But use language that you use in your field. So like if I was a doctor, for example, you could say, I'm a doctor and I use, I don't know, I'm bad because I don't know any. Let me give you a better example. Sorry. The video that we did that we spent $500,000 on, the guy was a solar panel salesman. And he was talking about, I was going door to door and my pull-throughs were down. I don't even know what a pull-through is. But people in that business know what it is, right? So you're not trying to relate to certain audiences, but if you have kind of stuff about you that's unique to certain audiences, that's really good. Because the great thing about Facebook is the targeting is really, really good. And if you're using certain lingo, certain jargon, we can match that up with certain audiences, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a client, Brandon O'Connell, who's in audio. So he takes music and licenses it for commercials. And it was interesting to kind of tie into this point that you're making. For him, it's like he was only doing, 3 syncs a month, which I don't even know what syncs are, but that means like somehow they're like, I don't know, synchronizing music for other advertisers for TV commercials, things like that. And then he went through the challenge, and it really would be him with the struggles and being a dad and having a lot of kids and this and that. But then, went through the 5 steps, and all he did was he just decided, upped his game and shifted his thinking and made a declaration, and then, went up to 7 syncs and, down, where it was only 3, so
that's
like
perfect.
that.
It's perfect.
Yeah, like that kind of language. I had no idea what he was talking about, but yeah, that's the industry jargon.
But you take that video and you target the music industry and you have a winner.
Yeah.
The music industry, they're going to be like, oh my God, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, this guy's can I take this really quick? We have a place in Hawaii and the electrical girl's having a problem. Hold on one second.
Yep.
Hey,
so, what's up, Janice?
Yeah, they said go ahead and go there.
Hey. Well, while we're on this little pause, so I just wanted to
and if you
speak
download
to.
the app, then you can.
Actually, let me mute Lanny. There we go. So, with this, I mean, isn't this cool? With like, it really is a completely different way to look at testimonials, and you can see how most testimonials are actually done in the wrong context. It's always about the upswing. So how cool is it where it's like this framework is proven to work and will be helpful for everybody?
Yeah, never would have thought that there was a formula for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I hired a company, spent $100,000 plus 10%, and we did a launch, and this was in 2012. And the company, one of the things that we did is they groomed the testimonials and literally did like consultations with each person individually. I never really got to know the process like this, but what I did realize was that they put the majority of the weight on the entire process was on making sure that those were excellent. And going through this, it's making me realize like how important, the process is. So, and then just also to keep in mind too, like what Lanny's talking about with the cheat sheet is the same 5 life and fire steps. So vision, declaration, letter, resource up, faith over fear. All we're doing is we're putting it in a cheat sheet. So we're just making it easier to get people the steps. And so everyone, of course, that's listening to this or on the line, like you've been through the steps. And so you're just referencing a cheat sheet that they're going to opt in to get. So I want to make sure everyone kind of gets the context of it. So because they're really not opting in for the challenge, they're really opting in for the cheat sheet, right, Lanny? So it's like,
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second,
Okay.
but you're absolutely right.
Okay.
For sure. So yeah, the reason why we're edifying the cheat sheet is because that's the next action we want them to take.
Cool.
Okay. So the reason why we're using this as the cheat sheet is because it's something you guys did and it's relevant. If that makes sense. And it's honest, right? I couldn't do a cheat sheet on, the 4 such and such of something else. And you're like, I can't do a testimony for this. I didn't personally do that, so I wanted to make sure we did something that you have like a personal connection to that's honest. Okay. Where did I leave off? So sorry about that. Our house in Hawaii is having electrical issues. So the electrician was at the door and I need to let him in. All right. I'm also glad I got, okay. This is like advanced level seeding right here. This next one that says, I'm also really glad I got blank. It has opened a lot of doors for me. I should have changed that from blank to actually what it is. So let me just change that really quick. I'm also really glad I got the Life on Fire Challenge. Here's where we're going to introduce the challenge, which is the thing that they're going to buy after they get the cheat sheet. So, and then Life on Fire 7-day challenge. So a 7-day challenge, right, Nick?
Yeah.
I'm also really glad I did.
I would probably just keep it as challenge just to keep it future proof.
Well, it's still future proof if it's 7 days, because it can be 7 days, any 7 days.
Oh yeah. True.
And then the other thing that's cool about 7 days is it kind of speaks to getting results quickly. I kind of like it.
Okay, cool.
But it's not, I didn't say
I see
live.
What you're saying. It's not.
I didn't say live.
Yeah.
So we can still evergreen it.
Cool.
It has opened a lot of doors for me. I don't know if that's really necessary. Let me just change that. Okay. So yeah, so this is more advanced level stuff. It's going to the next step. If you do this in your business, the first thing we're doing is we're getting the first commitment, which is the cheat sheet. After the cheat sheet, then the thank you page after they download the cheat sheet is going to be the 7-day challenge. So we want them to buy that. So seeding it here will increase the conversion rate on that page. So if you can throw that in and say, I'm also really glad I did the live I won't say live because we might evergreen this, but I'm really glad I did the Life on Fire 7-day challenge. And then talk about what you got out of that process too. And that's optional. I should put optional because it's not necessary. It's more important to nail the first part, which is this, than the second part, which is that second thing. So that would be kind of like advanced level ninja, is if you could get the second thing and you could seed that sale. But if you can't, that's okay too. If you're watching this video, so here's the call to action. Let me put this down, CTA. This is your CTA, your call to action. And you want to tell them what to do next. People at this point in your video, if you've done a great testimonial, you've built trust and credibility, and you've earned the right to tell them what to do. So this is where we tell them what to do, because we want to tell them what to do. And this is another thing that people make a mistake. They shy away from telling people what to do. So here's a framework of that. If you're watching this video, I highly recommend you download the 5-step Life on Fire cheat sheet by hitting the Learn More button. Now the Learn More, oh shoot, it's the electrician, sorry.
All right. So, cool. So any questions popping up or, so this is pretty specific, which is good, which will be effective. But yeah, so any questions or Janice, Michael, Karen?
Yeah, some questions based on what Lainey was just talking about. Can we have them download what he's just talking about, even if they haven't signed up for the challenge?
Yeah. So this is what is a pretty big shift to the marketing, because what we've always done is we've always made it so the only way that they really get the 5 steps, you either come through the challenge, you come to an event, or you hire us to coach you. So what's really cool is that they can download the 5-step cheat sheet, and it's basically, think of it as, that document Laney's holding, and it's really going to break down all the steps so that they can, as like a training, so that they can use it and benefit from it, even if they never did the challenge. So it's basically all we're doing is we're making it easier for people to get access to kind of our flagship process. So yeah, they can download it. And then once they download it, the next step is for them to sign up for the challenge.
Got it.
Okay. So this is Janice. So you're using the, I've seen that sheet before, but it was more like embedded in one of our other sheets. So it's like just the 5 steps, and that's like your opt-in, and then the funnel will be the upsell. I mean, not the challenge will be the upsell as you go through the funnel.
No, the challenge is the sale. It's not an upsell.
Oh, the sale.
It's the core
Well,
offer.
right. Okay. But I mean, they're going to get this opt-in first, and then they could stop at that point. You never had anything in front of it before, right, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. So we've always just sold the challenge. We've never given away like the 5 steps for free. So this is one of the things that is going to be very helpful for us. And then we're going to take the funnel and give it to all the coaches too, which is, we want to make it easy for people to get the content and make it free. So it's free to download the 5-step cheat sheet. And then the next step on the next page is the offer to sign up for the challenge.
Okay. Yeah, this is quite a extensive outline. The only one I've seen is like the ones you do at the ones you do at an event where it's like 3 questions. Who you are, what do you do, and what did you get out of it?
Yeah. And that's, I think once he wraps up going through it and then we kind of talk it through from the top, it's not as daunting as it seems because we're just getting all the detail. But yeah, I think Laney's, from his experience, this will definitely be a game changer to do testimonials in this way. And then I would encourage you for your business, like take the same model and have your clients do testimonials in this way so that you get better impact.
All right.
Okay. So continuing, it says, if you're watching this video, so tell them what to do. The Learn More button is the CTA on Facebook. So we'll use that. So, I love what the guy did. From the video we spent $500,000 promoting, he said, do your future self a favor and hit the Learn More button. I didn't tell him to say that, but that was genius. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, that's so good. There's so many things he did that were like, it was like lightning striking in the right place. Like, he hit on so many emotional points. And the other thing too is, keep in mind that there's 3 reasons why people buy stuff on the internet. Or I shouldn't say there's 3 reasons. There's a lot of things that sell on the internet, but the 3 biggest categories of why people buy or what they buy. Number 1 is to, or not number 1, these aren't in any particular order, but 1 is to make more money. The other one is weight loss. People want to lose weight. And the third one is love or relationships. People want to improve their relationships. And that also manifests itself in other ways too. So it's like, you could, I won't go in there, but under love and relationships, there's lots of seedy stuff that's included in there too, that kind of falls under that category of like large consumption of stuff on the internet. I'll leave it at that. But there's a lot of traffic in those 3 areas of, making more money. Those are the 3 big things that people pull out their wallets to get, is one of those 3. So, So when the guy was talking about his success on the video, he actually brought up, his relationships, how he felt more certain, he had more confidence, which helped him, meet people. And, he started dating again because he had the confidence and the certainty to ask a girl out. I can't remember if he actually said that, but he hit on these other things. He said, I started going to the gym more and I got in better shape because my confidence was higher. It was really good. So he subtly hit on those 3 areas, but not obviously. So I would say don't be careful about following this too closely, if this makes sense. Like, I'm telling you a lot of stuff. What you don't want to be is be a robot that goes through this process. Like, I'd rather have you totally screw it up and be yourself and be authentic. I should say rule number 1 is be authentic. And don't break rule number 1, even if it means going completely off script and ignoring all of this. That's more important than all of this. Structure is authenticity. I'm just giving you some really high level stuff that works really well, that's super kind of advanced for this type of task. And if you can do it and you can pull it off, great. And if you can't, it's okay. So on the CTA is, if you're watching this video, do your future self a favor. I highly recommend that you download the 5-step Life on Fire cheat sheet by hitting the Learn More button. And I hope it makes as much of a difference for you as it did for me. And if you really want to take your life to the next level, do their 7-day challenge. It's amazing. So there's another opportunity to edify the 7-day challenge, which is the thing that they're going to get an opportunity to buy after they download the cheat sheet. There was something I thought of that I left out. I'm sure I'll think of it. What questions do you guys have? Any questions?
Michael's like, give me the microphone. Give me that microphone.
Oh, let's talk about location. Let's talk about location.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for remembering in my head. All right, thank you, brain. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be like sitting where you're sitting right now. You want to be moving. You want to be somewhere, like, be outside, have your phone, and then move. Movement's good. One of the techniques that works really, really well is multiple locations. So if you can put movement into this, it'll make the effectiveness go through the roof. What you don't want to do, and I've seen this before, is I can tell you the testimonial will be terrible if you're standing in front of a curtain and you got your camera set up and you're like, like artificially like, stiff. I just want to thank you, Nick, for the the 5-step Life on Fire cheat sheet. Don't read anything. Just be yourself and don't do it in front of a curtain. Don't do it in front of some sort of prop or staged thing that's like obviously like, that's not honest. If you're in your backyard, front yard, could be in the house, could be, the dude that worked really well. He was walking down the sidewalk. He was doing his thing. Like, if you can do it while you're doing your thing, whatever your thing is, that's great. So he's a door-to-door sales guy. He was walking down the sidewalk, which was perfect. Houses in the background, talking, he's doing his thing. So if you can do it while you're being you and not being like person in front of the curtain or in front of the green screen talking to the camera, that's way better. Also, it's okay to have it on the side too. So my camera's here. I'm looking up here because I have a big screen here that you guys are seeing. But this is kind of more advanced level stuff. In movies, there's a concept called the fourth wall. Are you guys familiar with the fourth wall concept? If you can avoid looking into the fourth wall, that's good too, or looking directly into it. So it could be, I'm on the side, so I'm obviously talking through the fourth wall, but I'm not staring at the fourth wall, if that makes sense. So it's more like my energy is over here and, oh, by the way, hey, if that makes sense.
And so how would you describe the fourth wall? Is that the camera is the fourth wall.
Yeah.
What they're
So
seeing.
in any movie, there's you know, the only one that breaks the four walls is like Deadpool. Like they do it on purpose because it's funny, right? So
Yeah.
you know, they'll be in a scene and he'll look at the camera and go, I wonder what I should do here. You know, smells like old lady pants or whatever. He'll say something smart ass, and he's talking to the audience, which they never do in movies. Like in the rule in movies, you never break the fourth wall. So that's an example of a movie that does that. But normally there's, you know, there's a wall, there's a wall, there's a wall, and the fourth wall is the camera. Okay. And your energy is not as confrontational when you're not looking directly at the camera. So I used to have a sporting goods store, a brick and mortar sporting goods store. And one of the things I taught my people was don't ever walk up to people and say, "Can I help you?" It scares them. Like they don't like that. They just want to be left alone, but they don't really want to be left alone. So they want to be approached in a way that makes it inviting. So what I taught them to do was I would say, go up next to them and start arranging something on the shelf. And when you start arranging something on the shelf, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to ask you a question because you're now harmless. Like you're not there trying to sell them something. You're doing your job. You're fixing stuff. You're not there to sell them anything. I would say, so do that. And then look over your shoulder and say, you know, hey, what brings you by today? You know, and it was unbelievable. We were the number 2 store out of 800 and some stores by doing that and other things that were, you know, very psychologically good as far as sales techniques. But if you can avoid direct energy at the camera, you'll gain trust faster. And multiple locations works like magic. And you'll see multiple locations a lot in commercials, especially drug commercials. If you pay attention to ads, you're going to see a lot of these techniques in ads, especially drug companies. So like, you know,
The bathtub scene.
I don't know which bathtub scene, which commercial.
I think it's Cialis where there's the 2 tubs and the house and
Yeah. The Cialis is a good example because they bring you through a bunch of different
life scenarios.
a bunch of life scenarios, and then
not that I know anything about Cialis.
No, but the other thing that they do is they totally imply things without saying them a lot. Like it's all about sex, right? You know, she'll have this look on her face, like, you know, woohoo, you know. So they don't say it, but you can see it, you know. But I was thinking more of the drug commercials, like the ones, you know, for like, you know, Lipitor or these other ones where they're actually, one of them is so obvious, like it's actually a commercial of a gal who's like in a photo shoot and she's going from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so funny how they're like going through these different locations, and they worked out the different locations as a career for her, that she's in all these different locations, which is really pretty wild. But a lot of commercials, you know, if you watch them, they'll use different locations and move around to create trust, because people will trust you more at a subconscious level if they've been to places with you, even if those places are within the same room, you know? So like all you've seen right now is this. If I was actually walking around with you, you'd be like, oh my God, I trust him more. I've seen the rest of his house, you know? It sounds stupid, but it's true.
That's so fascinating.
That's wild. I love the psychology of this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
So, question.
Sure.
Headphones with a microphone, good or bad?
Bad.
That's what I was going to say. Okay.
Yep, bad.
So,
don't do that.
So then you should be aware of your surroundings as far as ambient noises and stuff like that. Just make sure whatever you're doing, you're somewhere where. See, because I've got like, I don't know where they are, but the little dangly ones that stick in the ear, but it's got the microphone like right there. What if I was just like kind of hanging that over maybe with the microphone right next to my.
So that's a really great question. I'm really glad you asked that. So, and I didn't say it. So sound is more important than video. So if they can hear you, to me, that's more critical than the quality of the camera and the video. So I would avoid like a lot of background noise if you can, but some background noise is good, you know? So like the example of the guy that was just, he used his iPhone or his Android, whatever kind of phone it was, And he was on a pretty quiet street, but cars would go by and you could hear them, which actually makes it more interesting. So not a sterile environment, but one that's got some kind of peace to it is okay. But you don't want a ton of background noise. It was funny. The most successful video I've ever personally done on the internet was on a cruise ship. I was in the Mediterranean on a cruise ship, and I was talking to the camera, but I was like moving my laptop around. I was like, yeah, here's like blah, blah, blah. I was kind of giving them the scene of where we were on this like cruise. It wasn't a cruise ship. It was actually a ferry that was going from Barcelona to Rome. So you go across the Mediterranean to get there, right? And in the middle of the video, the horn went off on the ship. I was like, ah, and it had like, and then there were people walking by speaking foreign languages. And it was like a disaster as far as background noise, but all the background noise was super interesting. And the video killed it. It absolutely slayed it. So if
anyone, has any desire to take a Mediterranean cruise for the video, Janice, I know, holidays are upon us, but who doesn't have time for that?
I live in Vegas. I could head down to the Strip and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. That would be totally interesting. The other thing you could do is you could do it in a couple different places. Do the same whole thing and try it a few different places. Sorry, go ahead, Janice.
Oh, when you were saying be in a couple different locations, and then so you say part of it and then you say another part in another location, or you do the whole thing in both? And
you got to do it. It looks too produced if you do it like that. It has to be one take.
Oh, okay. You meant just move around.
Yeah.
No, okay,
Yeah, just walk around with your phone.
I was just going to make the comment about Nick's location. I mean, you look at that and you're like, he's probably in his house, but he could be in prison. Like, it's just a white wall, just saying.
It's bad.
It's not a good,
so bad.
That's not a trustworthy location.
No, it looks like I'm in the clink. It's so bad.
Yeah. I'm just for the heck of it.
And the lighting's terrible. Ugh.
Just for the heck of it, I just looked up drug commercial on YouTube, and this is what came up. Let me just play a random drug commercial, and without sound, let's just watch it. Can you guys see it okay on the screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're in the office. Not approved for dementia.
Yeah, and it's a little blurry. I mean, it's not the best video.
But see how they're moving it on purpose.
They're moving it. Yeah. No, I meant it's not crisp.
And now they're in a different location, out in the field in nature. Oh, he's taking a picture, and she's happy, and they're happy together. So this is where there's some sort of transformation. So the beginning was the struggle. The struggle was I'm in my counselor's office. So that's just, whoops. These were really great. Hang on, this is probably a little inappropriate, but these Summer's Eve commercials were classic as far as multiple. Yeah. They're walking on the beach. If I can find, here we go. These commercials. When you look at these commercials now, they're horrifying, but they're pretty funny.
Hey, it's from '81, so
I know. See how she's walking.
Mm-hmm.
See how you can see the movement. That's all intentional. Now she's in the house and she's holding up the product. She's moving with the product, sitting down with the product, pulling it out of the box. This is so great. See, it's very intentional what they do in these ads as far as multiple locations. And you also see that she was not facing the camera. She had the sidewalk thing going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just super funny.
And Lanny, can you take the sheet that you have here on the screen, and can you pop that into the group me?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Can I just send it to you?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just do one more commercial. Probably one of the most famous commercials of all time is "Where's the Beef," right? So look at car zooming around. Look at lady, in the back seat. She can't see over. I mean, there's a reason why this is probably one of the most memorable commercials ever. Look at the journey that you go on in such a short time with these old ladies on the "Where's the Beef." It's great. And then they slip in the hamburger for the Notice the hamburger is like this much of the commercial. So that's a really good example. Okay, so I'm going to send you, because I have no idea how to use this group me thing. So is it okay if I just send this to you?
Yeah, just shoot that over. And
So I'm going to shoot you the PowerPoint. And is there anything else I need to get you for this?
and shoot me just the cheat sheet that you have.
So all I did was I took a screenshot of your webpage on this.
Yeah, just shoot that over.
Thanks for bringing this up. If you can do this and pull it off naturally, this is amazing. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you can be holding it while you're talking, but don't hold it the whole time. So the master at this was John Assaraf. Like when I did this with Assaraf, he was like, on one opt-in, we got a 90+% opt-in rate. 90%.
Oh.
It was insane. And here's how we did it. Okay. It was a Facebook Live. And I told him, I said, hey, here's the cheat sheet, tease it. And he's like so gifted at this stuff naturally. But what he did was he'd say, hey, I'm going to talk to you about the cheat sheet. And then he'd put it away. And he'd talk to him. And then he'd bring it back up and said, hey, if you want to get this, go ahead and hit the button. And he put it away. He'd talk for a little bit more. And they said, okay, we're going to get started. You're not going to want to not have this. And he did like 3 or 4 different, like, hey, go get this. And I'm telling you, the conversion rate was insane. When people see it, if it looks visually appealing, so now this isn't very visually appealing. So I actually printed off this screenshot off of the website. So it doesn't really even have to be this. If you can just print something off that looks interesting, because actually this from the website looked a little bit more interesting, I thought, because it had an image on it, as opposed to just this, which is like whatever. But like all I did was take a screen grab. I can send you the screen grab though, if people want to print it out. And print it out in color. Don't do black and white.
Okay, one more question real quick.
Sure.
The script, we don't introduce ourselves in the script. Should we avoid that as well?
Yeah, you can say you'd say your first name, but yeah, no, it's let me think about that.
I mean, because there will be a little tag underneath, maybe, right? I don't know how this is going to look on the website, but does it matter who we are?
It really doesn't, to be honest with you. But if
I can hold up my summer's eve.
If you were going to do that, the place you'd want to do that, I would say no, to be honest with you. Like I wouldn't do that. Here's why. The first 5, this is just going off topic, but the first 5 to 10 seconds of any video is, I actually was working with, who was it? Jack Canfield the other day. We were filming some stuff and I told him this because he's like, hi, I'm Jack Canfield. And I was like, cut. He goes, what? I go, don't say your name. He goes, why not? I said, because the first 5 to 10 seconds are make or break every video, and your name takes 2 of those 5 or 10 seconds away. If you say your name, you're decreasing the likelihood of success by an exponential amount. And he's like, okay, got it.
So that goes for
anything. So if you were going to say your name on a video, here's how I do it. I would hook them first, let's just say, I'm trying to think of what I could talk about for 10 seconds. Okay. Let me think of a problem. What's a problem you guys have had with internet marketing that I can use as a topic?
Too complicated, techie.
Okay. Have you ever felt overwhelmed or felt that the technology stuff is just complicated? Like, have you ever tried to HTML web pages and you're just like, oh my God, what is all this stuff? Well, I know it can be frustrating. And, honestly, it was frustrating for me too. My name is Lanny Morton. I do this. See, so you hook them for 10 seconds and then you can say, my name is Lanny Morton and da, 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 da. But you'd be surprised at how much your name doesn't matter even then, It's funny. We all think we're so important and it's so important to say our name. And it's funny because it can actually be the downfall of a video, which is hilarious. The truth is nobody cares who you are. That's the truth. All they care about is, can you help them? Right. And your name doesn't offer them any help. Now, if you're a John Assaraf or a Jack Canfield, then, you you could slide it in there and it might have some value, but I would argue even their names aren't that big. I would say, you know, when they're going after a mass audience, most of the people don't know who they are. You know, they're big in this little industry, but this industry is kind of small, you know? And then if you're Elon Musk or Will Smith or whatever, people know who you are anyway, so you still don't have to say your name because you're that famous, right? You know, when does Will Smith say, you know, I'm Will Smith? He doesn't. Everybody knows who Will Smith is. You know, Jamie Foxx, like, watch these guys. They don't say, hi, I'm Jamie Foxx. They don't say it. They don't have to. And if you don't have that kind of name recognition, then your name doesn't matter anyway. So who cares?
This may be the biggest takeaway for me from this whole call.
Yeah.
I was doing those Facebook Lives for a while, and I always start them out with, you know, Mike Hawthorne coming to you live from wherever I was.
Yeah.
So
you screen the video.
It's like, hey, Nick Unsworth here every single time. Sorry, guys. Learn something new here.
Can I tell you something, Nick? Awesome. When we were watching your videos, we were horrified. We were like, oh my God, there's so many mistakes. For me, this stuff's like nails on a chalkboard, you know?
Yeah.
I remember, so check this out. I watched it. So product launches are the best example. I'm not going to name names, but there's somebody I used to work with, and we made a lot of money together. And we stopped working together, and he tried to do it on his own without me, which is great, which is fine. And when I watched his first launch video, the first 10 seconds, I turned it off and I went, yes, he is going to crash and burn, baby. And I was like, eee! And sure enough, I was checking with my buddies. I was like, how's that launch going? And they're like, oh my God, we're getting like 5 cents per click. This is horrible. Now, keep in mind, I was getting people $5 to $10 per click with this guy. They were getting 5 cents per click. And you want to know what he did? You can't share this anywhere else because this is just gorgeous. Anyway, he had the flying logo come in for his company name and his picture. So there's 5 seconds of flying logo. I was like, oh my God, they just flew the logo in. That's crazy. I was like, yes. And then he said, hi, I'm so-and-so. I've been in such and such and such and such. So between the logo and the I'm so-and-so, 10 seconds, done. Launch failed. The entire launch. 5 cents per click. Done.
So, hey, Mike, go in the back office and rewatch some of the stuff that Jen did about how to do your YouTube videos. It's all in there. Whatever Lanny's saying about the beginning, that's in there. It's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. What you said, the first 10 seconds?
First 10 seconds is precious real estate.
And this is for anybody who is up for it. And Janice, I'm very serious when I share what I'm about to share.
Okay.
We have purchased a Life on Fire flamethrower from Elon Musk, and there was only 500 made. And we got one of the 500. It took 12 months to get here, and it's finally here. It's in a box in my house. I have not unboxed it yet. I've been waiting for a special moment. And Megan is going to do an intro with the flamethrower, which is just going to be outstanding.
Wow.
And then I was like, can you imagine what if we have Janice with like Terminator 2 glasses on with a flamethrower in our backyard? Would life be any better than that? I don't think so. So, but we do have a flamethrower, and I do think that it will be interesting for video. So, I don't know.
It fits the company name. Why not?
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's a different type of ad than what we're talking about.
So that'll be a separate thing. True.
You can let JLD borrow it for one of his.
Yeah. It'll be for other videos later. But okay, cool. Well, I know everyone's got a lot of stuff going on. We're right near the holidays. So I'll put this info, I'll probably just type it up in the group me, and then I'll put a link to it.
So based on what we just talked about, I'm wondering about this first line that's on this testimonial. Is that really much of a hook? I mean,
yeah, gratitude is a hook. People resonate. Like gratitude sets an energy. Like the grateful energy is very soothing. It's attractive. You know, have you ever experienced somebody who's resentful?
Oh yeah.
I'm just, okay, so
We all have.
on the other side of that is somebody who's grateful.
Right.
Okay.
No,
so,
it's just different than that question the example you did with Nick. So I just started reading it, went, oh, it's a little different approach.
yeah. So yeah, it'll work, and don't be afraid to do multiple takes, and have some fun with it.
Okay.
And again, going back to rule number 1 is just be yourself. Don't try to be anybody but you, no matter what. Although I've given you a lot of stuff to do, feel free to ignore all of it, if that makes sense. So, and just be yourself. I'd rather have you do that than not.
Okay, and did I see that you want these by the 27th?
Yeah. So end of day on the 27th would be, so it's a week from today, would be super helpful. Just because we're going to take that and then get it put together so we can get it out there and market the January challenge, or the cheat sheet that will then market the January challenge.
Do you have the sheet ready to go? Have you done it? Have you made it yet?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I can send. I just sent the keynote.
And we can print it out and hold it up in
Yeah.
our videos.
I just figured Nick had already did, because it looked like something you've already used before.
Yeah, it's the 5 steps broken down
on
the
the
website. Yeah.
On the thing we usually download, that whole big booklet.
Yeah, this looks a little bit nicer, so I'll send
Okay.
you can print if you want to use it and print it out and
Okay.
like what Lanny suggested. We might polish it up a little bit more, but just for time, we'll just get you that one so that you
And
have it.
to make it more interesting, what he just said is there's nothing saying you can't have a cover sheet on the cheat sheet, which has the interesting picture. That's a
Actually,
2-pager.
Yeah, it could be a 2-pager with a staple. Absolutely.
Yeah, because that picture is cool.
I literally just printed these 2 up like half an hour before we got on here. I was like, oh, I need to give an example of a cheat sheet. And I was like, oh, here.
Or the photo where they're jumping off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a 2-pager, and then you could just flip to it and show it like that. Yeah. Okay, and I just sent those to you, Nick. So you have this one, and then you have this document that I just did here.
I loved what you said about showing it and then taking it away.
Yeah.
And then okay, if you don't click, you're not going to get it. So
you're teasing.
It's subconscious.
Yeah.
The takeaway subconscious.
Yeah. People don't want to miss out. They don't want to
FOMO.
You're hooking them with the visual too. That's why I'm not super crazy. Like this is okay because it's got the stuff.
It's got.
But something that has what would be best is an infographic. Is turning this into a full-on infographic that has that's really cool. And I have Nick, if you want, I have a really good infographic girl on Fiverr I can send you to. If you want to get that.
Yeah, I would say let's do that.
Or I can give it to her if you want. I don't care.
If you could help.
I'll send it to her. I'll send it to her. No problem.
Do you think we could get it back fast enough, or is it worth holding them up for this, or
no?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. As long as they're holding something up, it'll create intrigue.
Okay.
But I'll put the order in right now. She's in Pakistan or Malaysia or something like that. So I'll pay for rush delivery, and I'll see.
Okay. So I'll put in what we got, and then we'll get it made to look nicer, and then we'll send that too. But I would say whenever you're feeling inspired to do this, don't worry or feel the need to wait for the more polished looking piece of paper, because it's either way, it's the 5 steps of the 5 steps.
Yeah. We could even use that cheat sheet, the cover, because it just says "Life on Fire" in really big letters when you print it out. You know what I mean? The whole worksheet.
Book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Standard. Yeah. Okay. I'm putting the order in right now for the cheat sheet.
Cool. Karen, any questions on your side?
No, I'm loving this. Such great
Cool.
tips. And I'm going to go back and watch it on replay again so I could actually write some things down. I just wanted to focus attention on this. So I'm loving it.
Cool. Awesome. And Michael, you good or have any questions?
No, this has been great. I appreciate it, Lanny. You've been awesome. Thanks.
Cool.
Great. Thank you, Lanny.
Yeah. And if you guys just
far.
maybe share a takeaway in the group meets. I think for other people, it would be cool for them to hear that there's some learnings on this, and that I know you guys you're all serving us and helping Life on Fire. So we're very, very appreciative of that. Like, this is definitely an ask in your giving. But it's like, it is cool if we can all learn something too. So any thumbs up or, kudos from this call, to encourage people to also do it would be super cool. And
so just in this one private group me?
In the group me. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The World Changers one. And I'll get this stuff over to you. And then any questions, the group me is a great place to ask. And then we'll definitely do whatever we can to support you. And, when you send it in, I would just say, if you have the raw file, you can just send it directly to me. So just Nick at Life on Fire. And you can, use Dropbox or WeTransfer big files, however you'd like to send it over. And you can, just ask any questions you need to in the group me. We'll be here to help get them in.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much, and have an amazing Merry Christmas. And we appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks.
Lanny, thank you, brother.
You're welcome. Nick, hey, can I
Thank you, Lanny.
Nick, send me a high-res logo if you can of your
Okay.
Fire logo.
Cool. I'll do that right now.
We appreciate you, Lanny. That was great.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
All
for
right.
being here.
Good night, all.
Thanks, Lanny. Appreciate you guys. Good night.
Good night.